May 10th, 1982. This is Stella Wallace, and I'm interviewing Benny Callaghan at his home in Parkdale. We're talking about his family history.
My grandfather's father, people, see. So I had to go look into, I went down to the, somebody mentioned the fact that I had to go down to the courthouse and check some of the legal documents or something pertaining to law, whether there were indentures or wills, you know, or something like that, and to prove there might be something stating the names of some of the, you know, of my grandfather's father or mother, you know, or brothers and sisters, and so that in order to prove, I can remember my mother stating that my grandfather had some brothers and sisters and some of their names. And I know that one of my grandlands, the trainer side, was a Mariah, another was a Bridget, and that's their names, you know, first name. And that I wasn't sure whether what my grandfather's father's name was. So that okay, when I went down and I got a hold of this document, and it's labeled, it's dated 1881. It's not hard, it's hard to read, but you can get a copy of it down in the courthouse. And as I say, it's fun. I can explain this, but you may find it hard to get all these information all at once, but I think we can fill in some of it for you. There's a book. This is my grandfather's father.
James Trainer.
And this is my grandfather named here. But remember I mentioned the fact that he had sisters Mariah and Bridget.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure about the brothers and sisters, but I found out that those again. But to prove some of these were authentic, you know. Well, you read this here, will of Catherine Trainer. See, no, but if you go back up here, then you have to go back. But I mentioned Catherine Trainer.
Well, this would be James Trainer's wife.
She was Catherine Trainer when she married Patrick, or rather James Trainer. She was Catherine, but she married James. So that was Catherine Trainer. And this is to a document conveyance. It's a document of conveyance to her son, Patrick Trainer. And here's Patrick Trainer there. And also, so you read this here, the indentature of the date is here, 1881, between Catherine Trainer of Dona Settlement and Township Lot number 35, down, the widow of the late James Trainer, and then it goes on, late James Trainer, farmer, Mariah Trainer, Mariah, see?
Right.
Catherine Trainer, is Catherine, and Bridget Trainer, see?
Right.
Now this proves to me that they were my grandfather's sisters, you know, and so forth. This is how so that if you get a document like that, some of this stuff is hard to read, but anyway, it gives you some idea of how you find some of the related information. Now, this is the will of my grandfather.
The Trainer.
That would be James Trainer's son. Remember, I talked with James Trainer here.
Right.
This is his son Patrick, and this is his will. But there's nothing in it that, you know, that gives just a document stating that he was leaving to his wife Catherine, or Margaret rather, the property. And sons Charles and Eugene were executors. So that doesn't give you much information. Then if you go back to the there's a deed of 1916 of a piece of property that my grandfather bought from Michael McCabe. And that was back in 1916. It gives you the. Now here's something seen on a document like that. It's an indentature, you know, and you may sometimes find something. Well, you may find names, you know, related to Irish ancestry. But I don't think you get that much from it, but you might get something. You know? But if you're looking for some particular individual, but this here piece of property that my grandfather bought was this is the way it was described. Went on the north side of the road leading from Johnson River Bridge to Monaghan, known as the Donagh Road. You know, well, you have some idea where that. And it was formerly in the possession of Michael Handran, but now in the possession of William Traynor, eh? And then you just go on and so forth. So it's just a documentary. And see, this deed was dated the 8th of May, 1897. So you go back that far, you know. And then this is just legal. So anyway, that gives you some idea about that. So you're looking for that. That's the probated will of my grandfather. So it's just a sign. Now, that's just a letter I wrote to sisters out in Minnesota. I was looking for a sister Mary Leonard, this place marked here. She was belonged to the St. Joseph's Order, you know. She was a nun. And she was my mother's first cousin. And her father was her mother was a McCarthy. In other words, her mother and my grandmother were sisters. You know, so in order to find her, I wrote them, and then they sent me the information on her. This stuff here. Now, what if you go down on your sheet there? I mean,
well, these are just.
Let me see the sheet. I just want to see. Occupations, yeah. So the occupations of those people, most of them, on both the Traynor side and the Callaghan side, would be farmers.
Okay,
Right?
great.
And the religion would be Roman Catholic.
Okay.
And I have, see, Lord, if you took a copy of all this stuff, I have no objections to it, none whatsoever, but I don't, you're looking for, not necessarily genealogy, you're looking for some more information on, you know, on background, eh?
Yeah.
Rather than,
We're
looking more for history than you are for heritage, in a sense.
Well, we're looking for both. Well, we're looking at genealogies too. We're looking at when, specifically the Irish settlers that came over then, and their social history. And there's some more questions here.
Yeah, get some more down here.
Yeah. Customs, livelihood, communities.
Deeds, well, you're looking for deeds, well, there is deeds, well, wills would apply there too, eh?
Oh, yeah.
So you go down to the,
those are the courthouse. All these that you got.
What?
All these wills and that you got were at the courthouse.
Yeah, and if you can get copies made of this, I have no objections for you to make copies, none whatsoever. You have to self for advantage in that. See, what I'm working on is making a complete. See, here's a will here. Back here. This is on my wife's vehicle, see? Her mother was a Duffy, and she was also before he got there. So that you have and this is a will of 1910. But there was an ageniture, this one here rather, an ageniture that goes back to 1905. And I also have that's a whole will of the Duffys. That's the one. Here's one before that. This is 1847. This is a statement. This is an indemniture too. That's the Reverend could be Michael McDonald. I don't think Michael's correct name. I find that anyway, an indemniture 1847. To Peter Duffy. And where's your report? He got this. If you go back to
Peter.
D. Oh. And then you go back to that household town. You see that's 1836, 1838. So they come over. They come over, and it's on that roughly when they come over. But anyway, this is what you call, I think, prior to 18. I'm not exactly sure the date, but I put that here. I can tell you. Yeah, prior to 1861. All the lands were leased by landlords to tenants, eh?
Yeah.
And I think it was in 1875. You get a copy of that down in the heritage. Just do that. And then land by means of a compulsory land purchase act of 1875. Vacant, what you call them, vacant providers, you know, the ones that they never lived here, these here so-called
The English landlords.
Owners, or
Yeah.
But they were forced to sell their land after to the people that leased them, you know.
Yeah.
And this is where this here British system. Lover of the British. Quote me on that too. It doesn't make me different. But the point is the way they treated the Irish people. So that I don't hate them, but I mean certainly wouldn't fall over them. And the kind of the way they treated the Irish people. Anyway, that's history for you. Anyway, but you get back to this. And you can get a copy of this down in the courthouse.
Yeah.
And then you can go through this. So you get the damn good eyes and patience to read some of this. I can hardly read it. But that's a document of 1847. See, 15th November 1847. Oh, I mean, And you might get something in that. There's that, and if you want to put that down, there's no harm. So when you go down to the courthouse, see that? That's the library together, that's the folio. That's the public archive to print of it out, eh? Pretty sure I got that copy down at the courthouse. Now, if you can't get it there, you go to the public archive. You know, and same way that copy here of William Duffy's will. That's down at the courthouse. There's also another area is down to the land titles office. But I'd advise you to just stay away from there unless you're looking for key information. Otherwise, you waste a lot of time over nothing, you know. But you can, if you find a document, you know, that relates to some information, you might get a copy that, you know, or be able to look at a copy of some of the old books they have down at land titles. And so that, anyway, let's see that document they have there again.
Trying to do.
Well, I never shut up.
Is she getting any information?
That's only that. So that. Now I have some I have all the genealogy books. You know, it's all here. But the songs. I had some old Irish songs. I'll rather the words of them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
These are ones that they brought from Ireland.
how long?
Are they ones, if you listen to what you're trying to get, she's trying to talk to you there. Are these ones they brought from Ireland?
Oh yeah, well they originally came, some of them originally came from Ireland. O'Grady's Goat, for example. Well, you know Brendan O'Grady, eh?
Yeah.
Pretty fine fellow. Anyway, there's a song entitled, my father used to sing it. He just handed down. He was an old dyed-in-the-wool Irishman, my father. Even he was born in Ireland here, but he was typical Irish, you know, just like it could be a typical Scotsman. And he knew between 200 and 300 Irish and Scots songs, you know. And he used to sing to us when we were kids. And we picked up a few of them. My brother and I would try to put some of them together, in the last year or so, back, you know, in some form. But let's give you an example of, well, I mentioned Grady's Goat, you know, that's the name of the song, Irish ditty. It went something like this. I can fill you in on the whole thing later on. I'm trying to think so much, it's pretty hard. But, and Grady lived in Shanty Row. The people often said they wished that he would move away or that his goat was dead. He kept the neighborhood in fear and had them always vexed, for they didn't know just when or where that goat would pop up next. That's just
Have you got them written out? Have you got some of those written out?
I had them someplace down. I didn't know what you were looking
I
at.
mean, do you want them or did you?
I wonder if I could photocopy them.
Have you got any copies? You could photocopy them
Yeah.
where are they?
And I haven't got them made up. See what we're trying to do. How long is this business? How long are you going to be working? It's all summer?
All summer.
Yeah. Well, so you don't need to get them tonight, but you can come back.
Oh.
And I'd even attempt to sing them, but I mean, I'm not that good a singer, but I would.
No, Cheryl, she's not listening. She doesn't want to listen to you sing and she wants information.
Oh, that would be great.
No, but I mean, that's, no, but I was talking to Brendan one night. I think we're going to Brendan. He went, and we went back up there. I told him that maybe when Joe, my brother Joe and I, when we put the songs back together, you know, as much as we could, that we'd, well, and they could record them, you know, for Irish history. They'd be recorded anyway. But the rest of the very verses. And there was Gilhooly's supper party at Fenari's City about a supper.
Where you did write a lot of them out, though, didn't you? Did you write a lot of them out?
Well, some of them, but I just don't know where to pinpoint them out. And I'll take them up for you again. At Gilhooly's supper party when we're on recording, you know. This is recorded right there. If you open your mouth, don't swear. Maybe you do. Otherwise, you'll have to turn it off.
There must be an awful lot on that now when you talk.
Gilhooly's supper party went something like this. Gilhooly gave a party to his friends 2 weeks ago. They came from County Galway, from Sligo and Mayo. The dining room was elegant, with flowers and with fruit. And Gilhooly looked at Andy in his open vested suit. He had everything that grew above and underneath the ground, and he had a dozen waiters for to pass the grub around. You never saw such etiquette as was displayed that night. I'll swear that it was not the White House dinner out of sight. For there was ham and lamb and beer by the bucket and a porter's sham, and you never saw such a devil of a jam as there was when they all sat down with forks and knives, and they walloped away, all fighting for their lives, all the boys and the girls and the fellas and the wives. Nearly ate up half the town. Now, that's the first verse. Just give you some idea.
What are you doing with all this, dear? Do you have to fill all this in?
Yeah, if we can get the information.
From who? From all different people, or?
From people with Irish background.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to find specifically when people came over from Ireland, where they went to and where they came from and what they did.
And has he given you any of this? So just
Oh, yeah. I just haven't got it all written down yet.
you better let her write some of it down. She's trying to
I'm just telling her what I have.
Oh.
Just give her some idea. See, this is the question, the first question. I'll find out what you want. You know? I've got to find. Anyway, that's some of the songs.
You're supposed to fill this in as you go to the place of birth and everything, is that? Or is that?
Yeah, but so you have to start from define. Okay, you go back to this here. The Irish ancestors. And then the place of birth of who? See, well, I mean, you have to start with trainers or Callaghan or, you know, and then
you're trying to get way back as far back as
they
you
give you
can
the
go.
book and you go ahead and get as much information out of it yourself, you know.
Yeah.
I can fill you in with what I've done, but as far as unless you have some other questions to ask me, you know, and fill in.
Well, we're interested in social history too, but if you knew what the goings on, how they spent their time, like dances or.
Yeah, I know. See, that's a big order, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But I think what you have to do first is you have to get some of this information.
Oh, yeah.
And then
time telling stories. Spend your time time telling stories, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's all. Whether they were the Irish people themselves, and of course the Scotch as well. I mean, see, there was no TV, the radio back in the, when the Irish settlers came in first, Scotch settlers, and so that they entertained themselves. They made their own entertainment, and I'm only going by my own background, my father's mother, their people, that I can go back and relate of my father and mother. They entertained themselves. First they had a background of farming, for example. You know, I mean, that's what they lived on a farm on both sides of the land. And anyway, when it came to entertaining themselves, well, families in those days were fairly the Irish and I guess the Scots, maybe the Scots weren't as free as the Irish, but they had large families as a general rule, you know. And like I mentioned, the fact that on both my mother and father's side that there was 12 children. Eh? Well, then if you go back on my grandfather's side, on both sides of the family, there was 8 on one and 10 on the other. So there's 10 and 8 is 18 plus 24, which is 42. You know, 42 children from my grandfather and my great grandfather on both sides. You know, and then if you go back and relate to her, my wife, and her mother's people and her father's people, both. Her father, first of all, was he's a descendant of the Tombs, and they were. So you go back, you're going into with English. They were formerly from Wales, but then her father married her mother, who was Adeline Duffy, and naturally Duffy is Irish descent. Back to the Tombses on the English side were from Wales, and all the Tombses originated from the first Henry Tombs that landed on the island back. And I have all the history of the Tombses right here. But they had were noted for big families, the Tombses, and they were I think they were. Methodists, I think, was the religion of the Tombses. And then all the Tombses in general are non-Catholic, you know. And her father was a convert to Catholicism, and he married Adeline Duffy. Then the Duffys, I showed you that Peter Duffy document here. That'd be her great-great-grandfather. And that goes back to 1830s, or even before that. But they had large families. And then as I said, well, there was no cars those days. I went by, the vehicles they used would be horse and buggies or horse and sleigh. You know, there time and horse and buggies in the summer, in the spring. And I can recall very vividly, and she can too, that when we were kids, we were teens and all of that, 5 years on up, our greatest thrill was going with our uncles or aunts or our grandfathers from Charlottetown to Dona or Fortigas by horse and wagon, or even a horse and sleigh.
On the ice. On the ice.
And you could go up the ice in the wintertime, or in the summertime you go on by wagon.
Did you travel around a lot?
Oh well, on Sundays, once in a while, we'd get up to the country to our grandmothers and grandfathers. for a holiday, you know, spend 10 days or 2 weeks on the farm. Well, I was brought up in the city here in some street. In those times, back in the 30s, that's talk about hard times. I don't know what hard times is like now, but anyway, too bad they didn't do the good. Anyway, you can all this down, all quotation. The point is that okay, the offer. But anyway, you're back talking about entertainment. The Irish people, as a general rule, on Sunday evenings, they would get together, even though I don't necessarily Sunday, but especially on Sunday evenings, and they would all congregate in what we call the parlor, not the front room, what they call the front room, the more sophisticated name today. But I mean, years ago it was the parlor, you know. Yeah. Anyway, and that parlor, as a general rule, had a musical instrument of some kind, but mainly possibly an old organ, or an old gramophone, what they call a gramophone. And it was the style of the oldest gramophone that I can remember. My grandmother had, grandfather was like a see a cup there. No, this will do. This will do here. There was something similar like this, see? Something, and it was like that. It was the record, eh? Old gramophone records. And you put it on the machine, you just shoved it in like that. And it was like the old, it's called the old RCA Victrola. RCA Victor was the name of it. And anyway, that was the gramophone. But the main music was by the people themselves, the members of the family. And they either, one member of the family played the organ, or maybe some played the violin, you know, or the mouth organ. And they were the main instruments, you know, too. And they'd sing the songs of years ago, you know, and lots of Irish songs there. There's one thing Ireland is noted for, as far as music is concerned. I mean, we said the world dominates the world. It might be maybe a little bit biased, but you can't beat Irish music. This music they have today is just bloody junk. That's all it is. Enjoy it. We were at a party here the other night. Look, you couldn't hear your ears with the noise, with the blasted racket, these so-called, and they called it music. I didn't. I called it noise. But anyway, that's part of the
well, they
Irish
like loud. Our fellows are all the same. They like loud music.
But one of the characteristics of the Irish might be playing, first of all, that they were very vocal. I just I don't know what I'm saying. But they like to talk because that's how they communicated, eh? In conversation. May not have been the best of English, what the hell the difference?
They used to like
Irish.
They always like to get together and tell ghost stories. That used to be.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
Ghost stories.
There's another factor. That ghost stories come in. Well, see, what I was mentioning first was the music, so that the family, whatever the musical talent was, they kind of used it to its greatest degree they could use it. And then when they weren't singing, they were reciting, eh? Or they were telling stories. And some of them were true and some of them were made up. And some of the greatest, I mean, the Irish they were great entertainers, you know, and they had lots of good Irish wit. And to give you an example, I had a cousin of mine this is the way it's told. So, he was a barber by trade. I don't know Baylands and his wit or humour, but this is how the Irish described it. Would describe his story. Maybe they go into details, maybe too depth, you know. But anyway, he tells a story about he was out this particular evening. He was very fond of a drink, you know, back years ago. And so he dropped into the. There was no liquor stores those times, you know, there was bootleggers and whatnot. So he dropped into. He was supposed to go to a meeting this particular night, and on the way to the meeting, he dropped into the bootleggers and he had a few drinks. In fact, he had a few too many. So when he decided he better take off for the meeting, he left the bootleggers and he started down the street, heading for the meeting. And there had been a property where the house had fallen down and there was just nothing left but the cellar or the basement. And he was feeling fairly well, you know, from this fact of drinking. So he slid into this here basement and he lay there for about a half an hour until he more or less sobered up, you know. So when he arrived at the meeting, somebody asked him why he was late. And he said that he fell in with a little bit of property and he had to stand by it. This is what his explanation. So give somebody a bag of foot. And that's very good. Anyway.
But I mean, I've heard them tell stories about they'd sit around at night telling stories, and then it'd come time to go home, ghost stories, and they'd all be scared to go home.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
I never heard the ghost stories, but I can remember them telling about scared to go home.
I could really entertain them. I went so well. Nothing TV today compared to so all that so good. I'm talking to them.
Wants to get something.
But anyway, just to...
Would you like a cup of coffee, dear?
Oh, okay, thank you.
is there anything that you can come back anytime and you wish? I mean, only let me know before I'm clear. You won't say anything, but you come back, give us a call on the phone, and if we're free, I'll be glad to help you with it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Any way we can. But there might be some questions that we'd like to ask right now, you know. So to get you started, you're just starting on this thing.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just starting.
So to get you on the right track and get off the track.
Get her off the track there.
But I mean, go back to, I mentioned it, so if you dig up some of the information in it, this will take you some time to, you know, as far as the anything that heirloom furnishing pictures. Well, I mean, see,
The pictures are here.
that's a grand, and this is a family. That was taken in 1921.
1921.
And I have an old copy of that. I could loan to you if you want to get a picture taken off it. I'll give it to you for you.
Could I get a picture taken off both of them? If I brought them back tomorrow?
Could you get a picture?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, great.
But see, I'm using this for this here,
Yeah.
so that no way I don't want to lose it.
Oh, no.
But I can give you a copy of it, or if you want to take that and get a copy taken off it, you can.
What are the
Or
ones
I can
like
give
this?
you another picture. I don't want to lose that one, but I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to lose it, but I mean, I have another one in here that I can. I have it right here. But to get back to that's the same picture, only that was in color. And this, we like this one the best one taken off, you know.
Yeah.
This was kind of a little blurry.
That's the original copy. But this looked better.
Oh, yeah.
And,
That's better.
the dark background is better because see, there wasn't too many color pictures taken those days back in 21.
Yeah.
It
You
wasn't
wouldn't know
like-
what the hell color was. I mean, anyway. you can take that one with you, or if you prefer to take that one, but I don't want to. I don't want to part with that one.
But what she
But
would
that
like
would
is
do
to get
you.
a copy of the other one too, would you?
Could I get a copy of this one, or at least make a note of it? Maybe somebody would come with a camera. I haven't got a camera now, but sometime if somebody came with a camera, could they come in and
Well, you come on
Okay.
in and take a picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah, no, it's no problem.
You haven't got another one of those, have you?
No, I only have that one right now, and I'm working on this, and I don't want to part with it until I get that done. Then once I part, then you could have a loan of it.
Mm.
Yeah, but you're going to be working on this all summer.